Welcome to Insert Media Here. On today's show, we have on-location footage from the Solstice Powwow and a follow-up interview with Kendra Paul. She just got back from Solio Kenya.
Hello, you're watching Insert Media Here, Youth in the Nation's Capital. I'm here with Kendra Paul. She was one of 6 students chosen to go to Solio Kenya. How was your trip?
My trip was absolutely amazing. It was more than what I expected. It was so much fun meeting the Kenyan students there, and just to be able to build schools with a team and climb a mountain is absolutely amazing.
It's a lot of stuff you did there.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite, I guess?
I think my favorite part about the whole trip was being in Solio, where we actually built the schools, the classrooms, and just seeing the community and how much spirit and how lively they live. It was so amazing and very inspiring to see the way they live and how happy they are.
It's different, I guess.
Yeah.
But because it's so different, how did they react to the cameras and different type of people coming in, helping?
Some kids, they haven't seen cameras or computers or anything technology, so when we showed them a camera, they were so happy. Like, they didn't understand what it was, and like they were crowding around to see how it worked and what it did. And like, I'd be walking around with my camera and like kids would be like, take my picture, so I'd like be taking I'd be taking 1,000 pictures of like one kid. That's how much, like, they'd never seen it before. And yeah.
You climbed a mountain.
Yeah.
Not many people say they can do that in Africa, of all places. How was that? A lot of hard work?
Yeah, climbing the mountain, it was Mount Kenya. Even though it's like the second tallest in Africa, it was still really hard. The second day, it was really emotional for me. Like, I actually cried. That's how mentally hard it was. And like physically, you'd get tired. And as soon as you got to camp, like, you just want to go to bed, and it's like 7 o'clock. You're so exhausted. It was extremely hard, but it was worthwhile when you got to the top and seeing the sunset come over the mountains. It was beautiful.
So how many days did that take?
In total, to get up and down the mountain, it was 5 days.
Wow. So it was physically exerting.
Yep.
Was there a boot camp that helped you prepare for this?
Yeah, before we went on our trip, we were training with Stefan and Tanya. They live in Vancouver, and they came to Ottawa, and we'd go hiking, and they'd teach us some conditioning routines and strength training. So we did a lot of training before we went, and it prepared us very well. I mean, without the training, I wouldn't have been able to get up the mountain, I don't think. So it was very helpful.
Nice. So you carry that on now?
Pardon?
Do you carry that on even now?
Yeah, I still work out. Yeah.
That's good. How has this impacted your life?
It's impacted my life from the beginning. Like, as soon as I was chosen to go on this trip, it like changed me as a person. Like, I got more confidence. I'm not as shy, and like, I don't know. Yeah.
Seeing how they live, and now.
Yeah, and like, you don't take things for granted. Like, seeing how they live, it's just like, wow, we can get water whenever we want, and they have to work really hard. And like, you'd hear it on TV, like, people have to walk hours to get to the water. And then like, when you actually see for yourself and like, you're there and you can experience it, you actually understand more, and it's like, you don't take things for granted.
What are your future plans?
My future plans, they involve Africa, actually. I plan on going back, and I want to help build a church in the community of Solio. It's a very religious community, and I just want them to have a safe environment where they can praise the Lord, and yeah.
Will it be the same team working with you going back?
It won't be with the same team. This is actually my idea, and like, I came up with it, and like, I want to make it follow through. So I'll be like the head person, I guess. And
nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through Moving Mountains, is the charity that we went through on our last trip.
You're in high school. How did you manage to finish your work while you're in Kenya?
My teachers, they actually told me not to worry about it when I got there, like, because it's such a great experience that you want to enjoy every moment of it. So they said, don't worry about your about your classes and work, and just as soon as you come back, you're gonna have to catch up and like work really hard, and that's what I did. Yeah.
So how is it now? Finished school?
Almost finished exam week, so I'm studying for exams, and then yeah.
But you're all caught up since then?
Yep.
Cool. That'd be terrible. Be like, come back, just have to forward all that homework. Okay, thank you for your time, Kendra.
You're
It's been nice.
You're welcome.
This has been Zoe Trudeau. Stay tuned for more Insert Media here.
Hi, I'm Joan and Wagon with Insert Media here on location at the Summer Solstice Powwow. Stay tuned for more Insert Media here. Hi, I'm Joni Mendewagen on location with Insert Media here at the Summer Solstice Powwow. I'm talking to
Brian Seer,
Brian Seer.
and I'm a Métis sash weave, finger weaver, ceinture fléchée in French. I do Métis beadwork, and I'm also an author. I'm a veteran as well. So I'm transferring these threads from this arrow, and eventually we'll transfer one thread as I go through here. They do what you call an adventure when you get to a change. So I'm transferring those threads all over there so that eventually this arrow comes to a peak like that. Okay? So I take one from this side, put it here, and I have to go right across with it. Okay, and as
Oh my goodness. You must get a lot of knots.
yeah, they all end up down here, and you get
Yeah.
what you call a false weave, and it looks almost identical to this. And then you have to stop and take all that out. So it'd be nice if you could keep it in there. You'd be done twice as fast.
Yeah, really, huh?
But this is where I do my adventure. Here's where I'm changing threads, and this is what hooks it all together. And you do this sort of thing. Change this one for this one. Put it up like that.
Okay.
And then I just keep going. And you'll notice there's also colors that run straight through, like here. See this green runs straight down the edge?
Yeah.
This white
I
runs straight.
see that, yeah.
Green runs straight here again, and the red. So
That's where you change the colors up?
no, that's intended to just a part of the design.
Oh.
But this is where I change the colors up right here. When I get to the point where this point here where I see I have to change the color here because it's all white here, so I change that. Pick up a gold one. And as this white one builds up, I'm going to come up with this design. Okay, and as the gold one disappears, it's going to get sharper in here. So what I'm creating are lightning flashes out here, away from the arrow.
How long do these usually take?
There's a rule of thumb, if you want to really enjoy it and relax and meditate, it could take you to 2 years. You got 188 threads. 188 threads in here, and you're going to end up with about an 8-inch belt out of that, but it's going to be about 3 meters long. So it's good enough to use for closing a coat, wrap around the coat. And in Manitoba right now, they're starting to use a lot of them, the loomed ones, mind you, because nobody else does this very much. They're starting to use them for scarves in the winter.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
So they're looking really nice, and they're all very much like Jamie's there, that's made by loom. But these in the old days were made to as a tump line. And tump line is something you put on across your forehead, and you tie it at the back, and then your buddies would, the Métis voyageurs, would stack as much as 3 bundles, 90-pound bundles, onto that tump line, and that's how you carry them across the portages.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and if you go through the Great Lakes up to Winnipeg, there's a place called the Walk of the Death. It's a French name actually, but that's where a lot of guys had heart attacks or their hearts just exploded, that sort of thing, because of the strain.
Yeah.
So it was really very, very strong men that did this. They're usually very short but very stocky. And that's why you see most of your Métis guys short and stocky. Also having short legs, you won't fall out of the canoe as readily. So once I finish one side, it's all, it's all done in quarters, as you can see.
Yes.
So I flip it over. And readjust it under my leg. A lot of people, when they do this, will tie it to a table leg or whatever. I prefer to keep it under me, and it's more readily flippable and all that stuff. And then I start on the other side until all of these threads are transferred over, and you end up with your final product looking like this.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so that wasn't enough of a challenge for me, so I took up beadwork, as you can see.
Yeah. And you beaded this
This is my vest, yeah, I beaded this. I used the 3 Seasons theme on these sleeves, as you can see. Used it as the 3 Seasons, and this is like a vine representing wintertime.
Yeah.
That joins it all together. Typically in a Métis vest, you'll see, or Métis beading, you'll see this type of S-curve, where First Nations beading is usually very symmetrical, very straight line.
Yeah.
If you ever looked at moccasins made by the Sioux or whatever, very, very straight lines. Well, the Métis were the ones that brought and actually it's the nuns showed the Métis women how to do it in Quebec. And they took that flower theme with them out west. So therefore you got the That's where the Métis got their name, the flower people, because they started beading this and they showed the First Nations how to make the flowers. But typically a Métis flower will have the 5 petals.
5 petals?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Athapascan, you might see as many as 8 on there. I've done some Athapascan. I did my buckskin in Athapascan art,
Yeah.
and it's got 5 petals on it. I'm also an author. I wrote a book on the Métis veterans of Manitoba. Just had it published last year by the L'Oreal Institute in Manitoba.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So after I read,
What's the book called?
it's called The Manitoba Métis Veterans from Buffalo to Battlefields. And I did research for about 12 years, and the federal government had claimed that there was only about 4,000 Aboriginal people in the wars. Well, I found 2,000 Métis alone, and I'm sure there's that many or more First Nations. But 2,000, that's just in Manitoba. So in my book, I was only able to get 200 with their stories. So I've got another 1,200 sitting on my computer that I got to compile and get my editor to look at and get that done too. My name is Brian Seer, and you're watching Insert Media here on location.
Hi, I'm Joan Wagon. You're watching Insert Media here on location at the Summer Solstice. I've been talking to
Jamie Coble.
Can you tell us a little bit about the design that you have here?
Sure. This is, first of all, I'm Métis, so we're also known as the flower beadwork people, and that's through our beadwork we do through fish scale art, through some of the birch bark biting. It's all usually in flowers, in the form of flowers. So this is a contemporary version of honoring that name, the flower beadwork people. So it still represents the flowers that we have in our surroundings, but it also, captures the spirit of the flower beadwork.
That's nice. What colors are you going to be using?
So I like to use really bright colors on these boards. I use the bright colors because at the end of this project, when people are going to be coming and contributing with their own colors after I do the outline. And it'll go into, once this board is finished, it'll go somewhere in the community as an art piece.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So we did one like this for the Tulip Festival in Ottawa, and it was actually quite an awareness about Métis because a lot of people in Ottawa know or heard about First Nations, and they know or have seen Inuit, but they don't really know very much about the Métis. So it was nice at the Tulip Festival I got to explain about my culture while I was doing this art piece, and to also explain that we're not stagnant, so even though we have and hold on to our traditions, we can still evolve our artwork through this type of art.
How long have you been drawing? Oh.
I've been drawing for about, since I was probably about in grade 7. So I started kind of drawing.
Oh, that's a lot of detail.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I kind of started drawing. And when I was in grade 7, I used to do a lot of this kind of stuff. And I have some other pictures in here. This is one of the first ones I ever did.
Yeah.
And this was in grade 7.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it started like this, and then it just sort of evolved. It sort of evolved into this kind of thing over time, and then it kind of evolved into this. So my daughter and I are planning to do a children's book one day, and these are some of the templates for the images. These are the drums that I usually do, and so the artwork for my drums is what we're putting on the board here. And I started off, after taking a leave, I guess you could say, from art, from grade 7 till after children. After children, I really had this feeling of wanting to be creative again. So I had a drum, and I used that as a canvas, and I, didn't have a lot of money at the time. My drum was $100, and I just put a marker on it, and it could have been a disaster. It could have been just a mess, but it turned out to be something that I really love, the feel of the marker going across the skin on the drum.
Do you have anything to add to youth who are aspiring to be artists?
I got a lot of criticism because I work on drums and because I'm Métis, and I'm told a lot that drums are not Métis, they're First Nations, and so, you know, maybe if you did something else that was more Métis, that, you know, certain people would purchase my art to make it genuine Métis, but I'm not afraid of drawing on drums because I'm not threatened by somebody questioning my identity. I think for the longest time I might have been not so sure, and that could be intimidating, those kind of comments. Well, this isn't Métis, I shouldn't do it. Yeah. But I think this is, you know, our culture evolves from somewhere. We picked up beads somewhere along the way. We picked up a vest somewhere along the way and decided to bead it. And I decided one day to pick up a drum. And that's an important part of where I grew up in Lac La Biche. The drum was an important part of the community that I grew up with. So although I'm Métis, I have, you know, every comfort in the world in showing my Métis beadwork inspired art on a drum. And so I tell people just to do what feels good. Yeah. Okay. My name is Jamie Coble, and I'm at the National Aboriginal Day, and you're watching Insert Media.
Thank you for watching Insert Media here. On our next show, we'll have on-location footage from CreeFest 2011 in Moosonee.